So today I wanted to talk about something extremely important, something awesome and incredible and powerful, and that is how to create the life of your dreams. And where I want to start is with what's usually in the way, what usually is the biggest challenge. And I can speak from my own experience that what typically was my biggest challenge was having the dreams, having the vision, but not having the action or the follow through or the commitment to actually making that happen. So, for so many people, I think the tendency is to be comfortable with just dreaming, comfortable with just visualizing and hoping and wishing and writing down your intention or feeling that it is that deep possibility, but not actually taking the actions and the necessary steps to make it happen. So for me, I had been a dreamer for so long, a visionary for so long, and that created wonderful, amazing experiences, but yet there was always some things in the gap. And so, what I'm going to be talking with you about today are just the different steps of how to actually create the life of your dreams. So, the first step is definitely going to be to look within yourself and to feel into what would make you feel the most fulfilled in your life? What would make you feel the most on purpose about? And what if you cleared the clutter of what anyone else ever said you should be or you shouldn't be, and you just honed into who am I? What is my gift in this world? And what would I love to experience? And something that's really important from my own experience is to really try to let go of what you might have seen media portray as success. Because for you, success and living the life of your dreams may in fact just be having a small plot of land and growing your own food. That can absolutely be living the life of your dreams. Or for others of you, it may be making $1 million and having your own jet and being able to travel all over the world and having a huge business and all these different products and services that you offer in the world, making other people's lives better and the world a better place. Whatever that is for you, it has a wide range, and there's not a dream that is better or worse than anyone else. It's all about connected to what it is that you feel the most fulfilled in. So another key, once you really get clear on that, is knowing what your gifts are, but then also asking yourself, how can I be of service? So how can I benefit other people or animals or anything? How can I be of service? So that is when we are most likely to actually create the life of our dreams, when we are coming from that space of generosity. We're coming from that space of giving, because then life wants to give back when you are also giving. So that's another step. And then also visualization is super, super important. So visualizing yourself experiencing that and connecting to how would it feel when or if you have that. Now, if you just have visualization without action, odds are it's not going to happen. So visualization is not enough. And for someone who was like me, who is definitely only focusing on visualizing and only focusing on the feeling, that can be a very dangerous trap, and that can absolutely keep you stuck. So it's important to not only dream and feel and envision how it will feel good, but to also do the stuff that's uncomfortable in order to get you where you want to be and where you want to go. So once you really, really get clear on that, you can step into discovering what will it take for me to actually make this happen. So if you sit and you say, what will it take? If you want to travel the world, what is it going to take? Well, figuring out the different steps. It might take learning, it might take researching, it might take seeing what jobs are available that would support you in actually traveling. It might look like learning about the language where you want to go. It might look like reaching out to your friends, seeing who you could connect with. So, all these different action steps that are necessary in order to empower you to actually create that. So, the other piece is clearing away stagnation. So that is a really big hindrance, I think, to a lot of people actually creating the life of their dreams, is when they're feeling stagnant. And that essentially comes when we get comfortable with living a life that is not our ideal, but it's that we've come to know it and it's come to feel safe. And we've come to not only tolerate it, but welcome it and embrace it. And that is why sometimes depression can set in, self beat up, and frustration can set in when we are experiencing that level of um, embracing where we don't want to be out of comfort, because where we actually want to be feels like it's painful to get there, like we'd have to really climb and risk and grow and expand. And that's not always pleasant for everyone to experience. And so sometimes just dreaming about something but staying in a situation that you actually don't like, that's unsavory to you, sometimes feels easier. So when that complacency is there, inside there's this inner turmoil of this desire and this really strong urge to be experiencing something that you're not experiencing. And that's why there's that it's kind of like being incongruent with your true self, because your actions are not lining up with your dream. And that's where we get stress, we get anxiety, we get frustration, we get depression, we get self beat up, we get all of that, because our heart and our soul is going one direction, and then our actions and our thoughts are here and they're not moving. So that's why we get stuck. But there must be something pleasurable about staying in this area, or else we wouldn't be doing it, because it's a very clear statement that humans are either driven away from pain or towards pleasure. So looking at what is it that is so enjoyable about where I'm at if I actually don't want to be here. A lot of times it might be that, oh, it's actually scary to try to go out on my own and to make a new career for myself, or to do something that no one's ever done before, or to step out on a limb where I'm not sure if I'm actually going to make it, or I don't know how I'll have the funds, or I'm just not sure I'll be received, or there's judgment, there's shame from other people in my past. I'd rather be accepted than go out on my own and be shunned by, family or friends or whoever it is that you're desiring acceptance from. So there's so many different things if you get curious to what's underneath that and why am I staying where I don't want to be. That was something that was really supportive for me, is I had to look within myself and see, why am I not taking action on my dreams? And a lot of that had to do with an inner resistance to working hard. So I had a resistance to hard work and more of a fixation on it being easy, it being joyful, it being light, it being just delicious to the soul and fun. And so that was kind of the path I would follow. But I was severely missing out on an extremely important aspect of the human experience, and something that is essential, and I think the paramount of actually creating the life of your dreams, because it does take hard work. But what I came to realize is that when I'm passionate about it, that hard work is so much fun. It's so delicious and it's epic and it's great. So when you can get clear on that and get clear on what's in your way, what are the blocks, and then also look on the flip side of that. So, how would I benefit from actually doing what I'm afraid of? So, how would I benefit from stepping out of my own path and not needing the approval of people in my life who maybe are I'm feeling judged by, or whatever it is in your experience? How would it support you to actually choose your own path and not live within the confines of what other people are saying you should be doing? And then also, checking in with yourself, is what I want to do beneficial to humanity? Is it in alignment with my values and my intentions? And am I creating a win-win in the world? And if you're clear on that, then go for it. So for me, in really creating the life of my dreams, what that also looked like was, instead of just making, a spiritual YouTube video whenever I feel inspired, shifting from that to spending time dedicated to writing content and creating amazing workshops. I created the Sensual Movement Sisterhood workshops, and that took me about 2 years of preparation to actually put this out in the world. So that was my pattern of not finishing something. But what I really actually got clear on and discovered about myself is I struggled with ADD. And I never knew that about myself. I never knew that. And part of that was that I wasn't accepting it or embracing it because I wasn't willing to look at the shadow part of myself. I was only willing to look at the positive side. So I would have this intention. I'd say, I want to do this. I want to create this. And then the next day, I'd get distracted by something else and I'd forget that that was my true actual passion. So if this was something that I was not doing on purpose, what are ways that I could support myself to do what it is that I want to do, to have my own back in that sense? So what I started to do was I made lists. I made lists, and my fiance actually inspired me in this because I recently discovered this about myself, that that was what in the past would cause me to not finish things. And it would be so frustrating because I'd be thinking, why can't I actually complete the things that I want to complete in my life? And I'd get so frustrated because I didn't know why. I didn't know why I wasn't finishing them. Okay, got back. It disconnected for a second, but it took looking within at my shadow and really, really getting clear on that. So once I got clear on that and I made these lists, every single day I would look at them and I would see what was written, and then I'd see, oh, okay, finish this. So I'd be reminded of that. And sometimes that was all I needed, was actually just a reminder. So the powerful thing is when you realize what your limitation is or what your block is, you can actually set yourself up for success, and with tools and these practices that will support you in creating what it is that you want in your life. So if you know you have a challenge that typically is in the way of you actually following through on your dreams, maybe try this out. Maybe write a list, and instead of going onto Facebook or Instagram or YouTube, look at this list and see, what do I need to accomplish today that's going to get me closer to my dream. And then another big piece here is being willing to reach out and ask for support. So what that support could look like is, hey, I need an accountability partner. I know that I struggle with following through on things, and I would love for you to just hold me high, and for you to, ask me if I have completed this thing that I said I'm going to complete by this date. So for someone who's similar to me, writing out a date of, this is when I'm going to finish this. So when I made my Zentral Movement Sisterhood video, it took me a long time to edit that because we had 2 hours of footage, and it was amazing, it was beautiful, and I wanted it all in there. And it was such an arduous task to actually slim it down to just the 7 minutes. And I wanted it to be at 20 minutes, and I thought that was good enough, but it was because I wasn't just clearing away the clutter, and I wasn't consistently, showing up to really get rid of anything that was in my way of just that potent, powerful message hitting the hearts of every single woman and every single person who saw it. So after that continuous, imperfect action of dedicating time to that, once I was able to really, really focus, then the video came out, and it was amazing. It was profound, it was transformational, and this is what it takes, is just these small steps every single day. So that for me was a big step in creating the life of my dreams, is actually putting my work out into the world and getting past shame, getting past fear, getting past insecurities or the stories of not enough. And it was super, super powerful to hi, to trust myself. So I had to really believe in a bigger vision and have my vision be bigger than my fears or my doubts or my insecurities. And that's also another thing that a lot of times is in the way of people actually, there's a helicopter going over, it's in the way of people actually creating the life of their dreams, is they have this actual inner doubt that says, I can't do this. I'm not actually capable of doing it, so they don't even try. But they don't realize that this unconscious belief is in the way from actually taking action towards what they want to create in their life. So journaling helps with this a lot, getting clear and asking yourself, what is in the way of me actually creating the life of my dreams? And maybe you'll discover it's resistance. Maybe it's a lack of self-worth. Maybe it's a lack of feeling worthy or deserving of whatever it is that you want. Maybe it's your relationship with money. Maybe you have a relationship with money that says money is, evil, or it's not spiritual, or, you don't need it, or only people that are not nice actually have it. But when you can actually be open to shifting your definitions of the things in your life that have been holding you back from creating what it is that you want. So that is super, super powerful. Just recognizing your interpretation of life is what gives your life the meaning that you've given it. So things are much more malleable than we actually make them out to seem. So that was something that was really powerful for me, is shifting my definition of hard work, that it actually was amazing, that it actually was supportive, that accountability was actually wonderful, that consistently being dedicated to something was not um, something that wasn't fun, that it was not something that wasn't spiritual, but that it could actually be something that was meaningful, that was worthwhile, that would be exactly what I needed to get me to where I needed to be in my life and to create the life of my dreams. So, of all those steps, I hope that that was supportive to you and encouraging to you, and give you a deeper look into how you can actually create the life of your dreams, and that it's not as simple as just visualizing and just dreaming and just imagining and just writing out your intentions. Those are all super important, but it also takes dedicated, consistent action towards making your dream a reality. And also looking within yourself and acknowledging and accepting the parts of yourself that are in the way of you creating that, the parts of yourself that maybe aren't so hot right now on the inside, that maybe need some growth, that maybe could use a life coach to support you in shifting that and creating a more positive inner environment so that you can actually create a positive outer environment. And also, too, a lot of times the state of our home can reflect the state of our life. So if you look at your home and your home is sometimes messy, that was a challenge for me of keeping my home, perfectly neat and clean, because I had a story that I would be a subservient woman if I was cleaning. And that was actually a limiting definition for me that was causing havoc and pain and stress in my life. And so when I shifted that definition to see, oh, how could it be Zen? How could it be a spiritual experience to actually clean and enjoy that? How could it be empowering so I can create a fresh, pure, bright, happy environment for myself that is honoring of myself and my space? So once I started to focus more on cleaning my inner space, I noticed my outer reality got so much more clean, got so much more bright, and I just felt much more in alignment. So whatever it is that is your shadow side, essentially, it's really important to look at that and to acknowledge that and to not hide from that. And once you accept the full spectrum of who you are, that's how you can take all that you are out into the world and create what it is that you want to create in your life. So, and relationships are super important for creating the life of your dreams. Spending time with people that are living in a way that you also would like to live, and spending time with people that you are inspired by, spending time with people that don't just agree with you, that don't just, um, think you're sunshine and rainbows, but that actually hold you high, that actually, see you and see areas that you could grow and support you in doing that. Of course, it's coming from a loving space, it's coming from a kind space. That's very different than, abuse or psychological manipulation or all of that. And it's a very clear distinction. Sometimes getting feedback about ourselves that isn't pleasant doesn't feel good, but that doesn't mean that it's wrong for someone to say something to us that doesn't feel good to us. Especially for a highly sensitive person, it can be really challenging to receive feedback that is not loving and sweet and kind. But again, that's the power of your interpretation, to interpret that feedback as fuel, as fertilizer, as growth, as something that can expand you into who you are, because the people that have created a life of their dreams and that, consider themselves very, very successful, and who you would probably consider very successful, they all attest to the importance of getting feedback, of having someone who can see you, because a lot of times we can't see our own shit, and we need someone who can see our shit and to support us in taking ownership of that and letting go of the tendencies or the qualities within ourselves that are not supportive, that are not healthy, that are not, in alignment with our core values. Because we all have that. No one is perfectly perfect. Even the people you see on Instagram or YouTube or Facebook, if it looks like their life is all together, well, yeah, it's because they're only showing you the highlight reel. So when we actually get real with ourselves, we'll see that we have struggle, we have pain, we have hardships, we also have beauty, we also have strength, we also have insight, we also have wisdom. And when we can really rely on our tribe and our community to hold us high and to say, hey, I think maybe why you're not actually creating the life of your dreams is because of this unsupportive pattern. If instead of resisting or fighting, we could say, wow, thank you, that, yeah, I could see that. I could see how that could be in the way, because why would you argue for a limitation unless you wanted to stay there? That's what the ego does. The ego wants us to stay stuck. And anytime someone gives you feedback that hits the ego, and the ego's like, ouch, and wants to dig an anchor into the ground, be like, nope, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to stay right here. Well, if you can pause, take a deep breath, and notice that. Notice ego is rising. Notice ego is wanting you to stay stuck exactly where you are. Get curious about that. Take a deep breath, let it go, open up to vulnerability, open up to humility, and say, what might be true about what this person is saying? And I heard a great quote that in the word listen is the essence of listening, which is silent. So in order to actually hear what someone is saying, we need to quiet our own mind. We need to quiet our own inner thoughts. And when we can hear the reflections of other people, that can be a really great tool to get you towards creating what it is that you want in your life and to being in alignment with your full, true, authentic self. And having the support of a coach is so beneficial. I have benefited so much from having a couple different life coaches, and they have all been amazing and so supportive. I had a business coach, I had a life coach, I had a relationship coach, and I cannot attest enough to how amazing that is. And that's why I do the work that I do with my clients and offer support as a life coach. And I also do sensuality coaching and sexuality coaching for women, and supporting women in healing from trauma and healing from sexual abuse. And then also just in reclaiming their vibrance and their sensuality and their joy through the practices that I have learned in my studies, for about 10 years of studying sensuality throughout all these different cultures and different traditions. And it's a big part of what enriches my life, and a big part of my spirituality is my sensuality. So coming back to creating the life of your dreams, I think it's really important to also have self-care practices that really fill you up with joy and with light and with vibrancy, and living in a way that if you want to be a life coach, let's give this example, living in a way that your client would want to live. So ask yourself, am I living the way that my client would want to live? And allow that to be a reflection of, are you showing up in the way that you'd actually like to? So self-care is super important. Taking time for yourself, if that looks like journaling or giving gratitude as often as you can to put yourself in a positive state of mind, having positive thoughts about your body, and not just positive, how can we say, um, imaginative kind of thoughts, but like genuine, real, grounded, like I appreciate my body because of XYZ. So not grandiose thinking that's not actually grounded in truth or reality, because that's not going to create an emotional, physiological response in the body if it's something that is not the truth of how you're feeling. So working slowly and incrementally towards having a full-on positive experience of ourselves, but that takes first integration and acceptance of the part of ourselves that are not so beautiful, the parts of ourselves that might be ugly, but if we can love that and accept that, that's where the beauty shines. That's where the beauty comes, and that's where the beauty shines through. And that's what people want to see. I don't think people want to see someone who is all shiny and who's perfect, but they want to see someone who's real, who's honest, who's authentic, and who is working every day towards creating the life of their dreams, and who's also inspiring others to do the same. So that's what I'm here to do, to inspire you, to encourage you that you absolutely can create the life of your dreams. It's absolutely possible. And it's something that, might not be entirely easy. It might be challenging. It might be frustrating at times, but it's going to feel good because it's true to you. So that's the exciting part. And when you're following your heart, you're really trusting into, the guidance of intuition, the guidance of love, the truthful, honest feedback of those that support you and those that have your back, and those, who love you, and really getting clear and committed to looking within yourself and see what's holding you back, what's in your way, and choosing to do whatever it takes to make your dreams happen. And they absolutely will happen, and it's absolutely possible. So I believe in you, I love you, and I'm here for you as support if you'd like to reach out to me for life coaching. I'm a spiritual life coach, and I hope to hear from you. I hope you have an amazing day. You can personal message me if you'd like to do life coaching with me. I also just recently released a new program. It's called Sensual Soul Awakening, and it is for women who are wanting to reclaim their sensual vibrance. And it will have sensual movement practices, dancing, journaling exercises, personalized guided meditations, and so much more yumminess. It'll be so enriching and so beautiful. So if you'd like to hear more about that, you can reach out to me again as well. And then we can have a little chat and see if it will be fitting for you. And then you can go ahead and enroll. So much love, and continue to create the life of your dreams. Bye.